Hello, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Okay, we're wrapping up Lorraine week. An email from Lorraine urging me to consider 5 different things for the video thoughts for the day that had crossed her mind as important things. And so today's Friday, it's the last one. Now, Friday is one on victory. That's pretty good, huh? Lots of people want to be the winner in this world and in this life, but this is a different kind of victory. This isn't just, gee, my team beat your team. This is one of the victory that we have through God and His power in our life. Now, if you're reading your Bibles, you know that early on, God expressed that victory in a number of different ways. For example, when He brought Israel out of Egypt, there was victory over Pharaoh and his army. And during the Exodus itself, repeated victories as long as Israel was following God's leading and doing what God told them to do. They'd walk in victory and conquered the promised land and all of that. But even in those Old Testament passages, you don't see God talking only about victory of Israel as a nation. There's a very personal victory that's explained in life. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 51, where David is praying for God to forgive him for his sin and to bring victory into his life rather than the defeat that sin had brought on. And it's a wonderful passage. But all of the areas where we need victory, think about it. Think about what your inner struggles may be. For some, it's just a struggle to be patient. For some, it's a struggle to overcome anger, or to find purity in their mind, or forgiveness in their heart, or it's a struggle against being judgmental of others. It's a struggle not to gossip. It's a struggle not to be dependent upon relationships or drugs or alcohol or whatever it may be, or shopping or physical expression. There are so many dependencies in our lives that we need victory over. And God promises victory over those things for you and I. The key is being in relationship with God. You know, a lot of people will remember in Galatians 5, the Rabbi Paul was writing, and he talked about how there are certain works of the flesh that we do that are these horrible, wicked, evil things, but that there are also fruit of the Spirit of God that help us, that are love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness. And he talked about those who belong to God, those who belong to Christ. They have crucified the flesh with all of its passions and desires. There's victory over the passions and desires and those inner struggles we have. You know, God offers victory in our attempt to restore relationships. He offers victory in life's needs. You know, Jesus said, consider the lilies of the field. They don't work. They're not out there weaving their clothes, and yet they're dressed more beautifully than anybody else could be. Loneliness. The presence of God transforms loneliness. If you are lonely in your life, Jesus says, you know, ask me to come into your life. And there is something tangible that happens when you ask Jesus to be present and to help cure the loneliness that you feel. The curse of sin and death is a curse that's as old as the Garden of Eden, and yet it's a curse that finds its victory in God's victory over death that we see as Christians in Jesus. And so this whole concept of victory is something that's very real and present. You say, well, I asked for victory once and I didn't get it. Well, victory is not something that's just boom and it's there generally. I'm not saying it can't be sometimes, but it's something where God engages in the struggle with us to bring us to that point of victory. And so for me, as I go into the weekend, I'm going to go into the weekend knowing that I've got victory in God and seeking God's help in my life in those areas where I need to see that victory manifested. I hope you'll join me there. I'm excited to talk to you next week, but today it's V for Victory Day. And that's your V for video thought for the day.